welcome back to Uncut and welcome back to another amazing interview with industry professionals. This week we were really excited to interview Rhys Auteri, who played Gus in Late Night with the Devil. Rhys is a longtime actor, but this is actually his Hollywood debut. But other than that, he's done a lot of improv, a lot of theater, and he's been an actor for a long time. And he tells us a little bit about how he got into acting initially and how magically he discovered that he could be in a Hollywood movie. Although he's not too sure that it's a Hollywood movie.
We had a great time talking with him and getting to learn more about how the film was made, so I hope you all enjoy. And without further ado, here's Rhys Auteri.
So Kelly and I watched the movie, and we're looking for a horror movie to watch, and we've been actually expecting to watch Late Night with the Devil for a while after seeing trailers and stuff, because it just looked amazing. And watching it, it was one of the most unsettling experiences.
Yeah.
And it wasn't your typical horror movie of like, kind of when the scare is coming and and the tension building. This was just like an uncomfortable feeling all throughout that had you scared at the edge of your seat. So I think I think we can all agree that you did an amazing job in this movie.
Thank you. That's very kind. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. So if we could start by you introducing yourself, who you are as an actor, as just your craft, and just give us a little bit of that.
Sure. I'm Rhys Auteri. I play Gus McConnell in Late Night with the Devil. I've been around drama a long time. I did a drama degree 20 years ago at Monash University, and I've done writing, directing, lots of stuff in theatre in Melbourne. But mainly nowadays I do improv, and I got into improv about 10 years ago through Improv Melbourne, and I think that's when I really kind of found my niche. I think that was when I was like, yes, this is my people. And I never expected to be in a film, really. But I'm glad I was, because it was such a great experience, and I'd love to do it again. And I think that all my experiences leading up to it helped make it really sing. Yeah.
Both of us really enjoy theater, and we try to go to the theater as much as possible and watch different plays and musicals and whatnot. So we definitely understand the difference between being an actor in theater and being an actor in film. And we're gonna get a little bit into that in a little bit. But what really inspired you to become an actor? You say you've been around drama for a long time. So what was that spark that made you decide? And also, what was the spark that made you transition and want to do film a little bit?
I think I first got interested in high school. I think drama was the one class I really looked forward to, and because I knew we wouldn't just be sitting down and writing in books and listening to the teacher. We'd be trying things, making people laugh, experimenting with that, and that was some of my first visits to the theater were through school as well. And I think I was kind of hooked. I still love going to the theater, and the idea that I could make theater was a real revelation, and that anyone can make theater was a revelation. And I think that that's where the spark came from, for sure. And why did I as I said, I wasn't looking to get into films. It was extremely miraculous how I got cast in this. I have a friend of I was doing an improv show in 2022, and I believe that the directors just saw my face on the poster and thought, he kind of looks like what we're looking for. And I believe they were struggling to find the right person, and so they kind of said, let's just text him, see if he wants to do it, wants to do an audition. And I got a text out of nowhere, and I thought it was like spam. I ignored it like 3 days, because I thought, well, that's nonsense. I don't know what this is. Late Night with the Devil, that doesn't even sound like a real film name. And then I went to a friend of mine who's an agent. I said, "Do you think this is real?" And they said, "Yeah, it's real. You should send them a self-tape." And so I did, and yeah, and it was I didn't expect to hear back, and I did, and then I met them in person. I didn't expect to get through, and I did, and it's just been such a real blessing that not only was I able to be in a film, but it was a really great film, and a lot of people seem to like it, which is just great.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. And I think the character of Gus specifically had so many different faces because when you're in front of the camera, I guess, when the show is running, you're quite supportive of your main and person and running the show, and you're being like, yeah, let's do this, and quite fun. But then when we have the behind the scenes of the show itself, and Gus is more like, I think we should stop. We should not be doing this. Like, you should really think about what you're doing. And I think you being able to show those two different faces in such a big transition, does that have how, I mean, how did it inform how you approached being Gus, and what kind of help was it? Just your background as a theater actor.
Um, well, the whole shoot felt very theatrical. It was all done in one set, and it was shot mostly in chronological order. And most of the cast, a few came here and there, but me and David were there every day, and the others were there for quite a long stretch. And so it felt like that we would do takes again and again and again, and there were quite long shots as well, that long one shots, and they were really it began to feel like theater. Uh, and I forgot the cameras were there, and I would just, I didn't care if the camera was on me or not. It felt like, I was reacting no matter what. It felt like we were doing a real show, and the bank of seats only helped that. And the day that the audience came in, it really was theater for a day. So I think that it was a great way to be introduced to film, because it very much felt like a theater and a theater ensemble. Like, the whole group was very supportive, and I think we all worked really well together, and I think that comes across.
It most definitely does. And I mean, this movie was, like I said earlier, is so impactful and just so unsettling all throughout. I feel like it's the kind of movie that will definitely get a cult following very quick. And it tends to be that the horror movies that have a cult following, have a little bit of gossip behind them, being like, this movie was demonic on the set, and blah blah blah. But for what you're telling me, it seems like everyone was working really well, and it was a really good environment. But what was it like, the environment shooting such a impactful movie, and such an unsettling horror movie?
I don't remember any demonic moments on set, uh, but maybe I've been brainwashed since. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it was no, it was. See, I'm a coward. I can't watch horror movies.
Mm,
I I This is the only horror movie I've watched in probably 20 years.
well,
Uh, and um, so I wasn't sure how it would be filming it. But it was just a pure pleasure. Like, um, it was a real. I never saw it as a horror movie. I don't think. I don't know what other actors would say, but I couldn't approach it like, I'm making a horror movie. I have to act in some kind of horror way.
mm-hmm.
I always felt it was a period film that just happened to have um, some really strange stuff happen. And so I always tried to just see it as, okay, it's a 70s film. We're playing it for real, and that was my approach to it. And yeah, I think on set it was as far as you could get from unsettling. Everyone was so supportive. I think partly because it was such a small family and a small budget film,
Yeah.
that everyone just worked well together.
And Late Night with the Devil has a number of really impactful scenes, but there is one specifically that there was an audible gasp in the audience. And this scene is specifically with you, which is the worms. And coming from theater, going into film, I know there is a lot of different things that you can approach differently, like special effects as opposed to practical effects. If you could tell me a little bit about how that was accomplished and how you approach this scene yourself.
Yeah. I think well, that was probably the scene I was most um, uh, intimidated by because um, you can think about how you would react to a lot of things, but it's hard to really understand how you'd react to that happening. And I don't want to give too much away. I don't know if people spoilers or whatever, but how it was done, it was I can tell you that they were real worms, and that
Kaylin was thinking that, but I was like, no way.
oh yeah, they were 100. We had a worm handler come in, and we tried our best to make sure that they all survived. Um, I may have stood on one, but I did my best. Um, and and yeah, there was kind of a bit of I guess some false body elements that had been
Okay.
created. And I had one take because there was only one one of those, and if I stuffed up the shot, we were stuffed. So
That's crazy.
uh, that that was I felt quite a bit of pressure. I have to, grab it just right, rip it just right, and hope that everyone else who are pushing these worms through a pipe are gonna do their job right. And yeah, and it worked perfectly, and I was very relieved. I was surprised how everyone on set, a lot of people on set were quite disgusted by the worms.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess I'm lucky because worms don't bother me. Yeah, I wasn't too bothered. If it would have been spiders, maybe. But
Yeah, I think had it been me, it would be so difficult for me to get through that. I mean,
oh,
couldn't
really?
for sure. But I mean, that's a really great piece of a memory that you have on set. But is there any other memories that you have that you would say this happened on set, and I'm really thankful, or it's just something that stuck in my mind, something memorable that happened on Late Night with the Devil?
Well, so many great memories. Everyone in the cast was just a joy to work with. Laura Gordon was very supportive. Of me, and Ian Bliss is such a great guy, and David is, I mean, he's so brilliant in this film, um, and he's such a nice guy, so very nice to work with. Um, I think maybe the day we all had deep dish pizza on the set. David is from Chicago and had been talking it up, and it was his birthday towards the end of the shoot,
Oh well.
and uh, somehow, because we don't really have deep dish here in Melbourne, and somehow he managed to find a store and order it in, and we all tried it, and it was delicious. Uh, and it felt like because it was maybe the second last day of shooting, it felt like uh, a nice way for us all to get together and um, kind of celebrate what we had done and what we were doing. So yeah, probably that.
Like I said before, the character of Gus is so impactful, and I will say I speak for everyone when I say we definitely want you to stick around in Hollywood, making movies for everyone to see around the world. But as you mentioned, improv is kind of where you found your groove as an actor. But what would you say is your next thing, your next step? Are you gonna stick around in Hollywood, or are you gonna do a little bit of both?
I mean, I love the idea that to stick around in Hollywood. I mean, the film it doesn't feel very Hollywood. It was all shot in
Hmm.
Melbourne, and about 20-minute drive from my place, so it was okay. Uh, and I think once a film becomes successful, everyone suddenly thinks, oh, it's Hollywood,
Hmm.
uh, which is interesting. But as for doing more films, I would love to do more films. Um, I think perhaps I've been spoiled with this one at just what a joy it was to work on. But I love the idea that theater. One of the things I love about theater is that it's you have to be there, and especially with improv, you have to be there that night, or
Yeah.
you never see it again. But I do love film. I watch lots and lots of films, and I love the idea that I've been in a film and that'll be around forever now. I can show my nieces and nephews, and so I'd love to do more, and just see where it goes. You know, try. It was fun to try something new, and I think something I'd been. I think for a long time I thought, oh, I could never do a film. You know, I don't. I think that's for other people. That's for people who look like Brad Pitt or whatever. And I know I look a bit like Brad Pitt, but
Oh,
it's
I
not
thought it was
enough.
Brad Pitt. I was like, hold on.
You know, I get that a lot. It's yeah, it's the cross I have to bear. But
Gotta be
I
tough.
think yeah, I think but yeah, I'd love to do it. I love the idea of stretching out, doing something new. I think I'll always do a bit of improv as well because I really just enjoy doing it.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, the idea of um, getting to work with lots of different people and learn, always learn new things is the key.
For sure. And you have such a long career doing theater and improv and whatnot. What are the differences that you find um, between theater and working in film?
Um, well, I mean, I've only got a small kind of reference point because I've only been in one real movie, but uh, it takes a lot more people to get a film made, both in every aspect, not just in having enough sound guys and people to make sure that I've got the right makeup on and the right costume and all that. And also, you've got to get it funded is really difficult, which I think part of the reason there's so many companies listed in front of the film because it's just so hard to get a film made these days. Um, and yeah, with theatre you build towards with scripted theatre you build towards an end product, and that
Mhm.
end product you then show the whole thing. With theatre, with film, you do that scene, and then at the end of the day, that scene is done,
Yeah.
and you're not coming back to it. You filmed it, so every day you kind of have to be at your best because you're uh, you're committing it to film, and you don't get at the end to do a showcase. The film is the showcase. So I think that felt like the main difference to me.
That is absolutely amazing. And like I mentioned, we go to theater as much as we can. And it's just incredible seeing all of these different actors just giving it 150% every single day. And
Mm.
so we definitely appreciate what actors do in theater and improv. We really love improv. We usually go to improv comedy more than anything, but it's just a really great work. And with your experience that you have, what is a piece of advice that you will give to aspiring actors, not only for film but for theater and improv?
I think the main advice is that you have to really enjoy doing it. Uh, if you don't if you wouldn't do it for free, then I wouldn't bother because so much luck is involved. Uh, you know, the amount of luck that that I got to be in this movie is like unbelievable. Um, so you know, I found that I love being on stage. I love thinking about work. I love writing work, and I would continue to do that no matter what. And you know, with improv, you do it not getting paid anyway. And so if you're looking, yeah, I would approach it not necessarily like I am going to be a big star, but I really love this. It's going to be a vocation. This is something I want to learn about. I want to get better every day at it. Um, that's the best way to do it. That's how I've done it. And a bit of luck wouldn't hurt.
Most definitely. Wise words for sure. And so, Riz, thank you so much for being here with us. Where can people follow you if they want to keep up with your career and what you're up to?
Well, I'm on Instagram on Rhys Auteri is my thing there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on yeah, the main ones. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time there, but whenever I'm doing something interesting, that's where you'll find it. Yeah.
Awesome. So one thing that we do at the end of the podcast every episode is that we bid farewell our audience and we clap our hands and say and cut, and we do that to the camera. So we would love if you will give us the honor and do that for us and bid us farewell before you do it.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Caitlin and Sebastian. And cut.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Cut. You can follow us on all social media, starting with Instagram as Cut the podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube as That Film Couple, which is the same handle for TikTok, That Film Couple for short form content. You can also follow us on Twitch as Sebasparra1K. And if you're watching right now on YouTube, you can find us on any podcast platform as Cut exclamation mark. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram as sebi.mp4.
And you can follow me at caitlin.mp4.
Thank you so much for being here one more week, and we'll see you in the next one.